The 2022 Heisman Finalists have been revealed. USC quarterback Caleb Williams, TCU quarterback Max Duggan, Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud, and Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett. In today's video, I am going to be taking a look at every Heisman finalist from high school prospect to current day. Now, before I move on with the video, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. The first player that I'm going to be talking about that's a Heisman finalist is the favorite right now, and that is USC quarterback Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, as a recruit in the 2021 recruiting class, was highly coveted, and he was ranked as a 5-star according to the 24/7 Sports Composite, was the number 1 quarterback before Quinn Ewers reclassified, and finished as the number 2 quarterback and the number 7 player in the nation. He would end up choosing the Sooners out of high school. As a true freshman with the Sooners in 2021, Caleb Williams would start off as a backup quarterback to Spencer Rattler. However, when Rattler was struggling versus Texas, Caleb Williams came in and led a miraculous comeback, and he would be the QB1 for the Oklahoma Sooners for the rest of the season, winning that job and starting off the Caleb Williams era in Oklahoma. In his freshman campaign, he had a good year, showing a lot of potential and a lot of flashes. 11 games played, completed 65% of his passes, threw for 1,912 yards, 21 touchdown passes through the air compared to 4 interceptions, while accounting for a total of 442 rushing yards, averaging nearly 6 a carry, and 6 total touchdowns on the ground. Lincoln Riley would end up leaving Oklahoma near the very end of the college football season for USC, and the question was Caleb going to follow him to USC? And ultimately, Caleb would once the 21 season was over and he entered the transfer portal. In this current 2022 college football season, Caleb Williams has been lighting the college football world on fire for USC. 13 games played, completing 66% of his passes, has thrown for 4,075 yards, 37 touchdown passes in the air compared to only 4 interceptions, while accounting for 372 rushing yards and 10 total touchdowns on the ground. This is a lot of people's Heisman favorite to win it this year, and it's personally my favorite to win the Heisman. And honestly, I think Caleb Williams is the best player in college football. On to the next Heisman finalist. It is TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Max Duggan, as a recruit in 2019, was rated as a 4-star, number 229 player in the nation, and the number 5 dual-threat quarterback in the class, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings. He would end up going to TCU. Max Duggan has been a long-time starting quarterback for the TCU Horned Frogs. He has the starting experience, and he's having a good year this year. But let's take a look at the other years. 2019, as a true freshman, he was an immediate impact, completing 53% of his passes, throwing for just over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns compared to 10 interceptions, while accounting for over 500 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns. He showed a lot of promise and a lot of potential. Going into 2020, Max Duggan's football career seemed to be in limbo, as he had to get heart surgery right before the season, and people thought it could even be career-threatening. However, he would end up being the starting quarterback week 1, just weeks after having heart surgery, and he had a solid year in 10 games played, throwing for 1,795 yards, 10 touchdowns compared to 4 interceptions, and a total of 10 rushing touchdowns. 2021, he saw even more improvement, making more improvement in his game overall, even though TCU wasn't the best team. He completed 64% of his passes, threw for just over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, while having 3 total rushing touchdowns on the ground. In regards to Max Duggan's 22 campaign, if you would have told people in week 1 of the 22 season that he was going to be a finalist, people would have called you dumb and or crazy, or maybe even both. But in this 22 campaign, he's been remarkable. He started off the season as a backup quarterback to Chandler Morris, and Chandler Morris got injured week 1 versus Colorado, and he took the job back and ultimately didn't look back. 13 games played for TCU. They're 12-1, going to their first ever college football playoff, and even had a Big 12 championship game berth. In 13 games played for the Horned Frogs, Max Duggan has completed 65% of his passes, has thrown for 3,321 yards, 30 touchdowns through the air compared to only 4 interceptions, while accounting for 404 yards on the ground and 6 total rushing touchdowns. With this next finalist, it is Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, as a recruit in the 2020 recruiting class, was ranked as a 4-star, top 50 player, and number 2 pro-style quarterback in the class, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings. He would end up going to Ohio State. To start off his college football career in 2020 for the Buckeyes, he was a backup quarterback to Justin Fields and ultimately would redshirt, only appearing in one game. But once the 2021 season came by as a redshirt freshman, he was the QB1 for the Buckeyes, and it was officially his time to shine. In 12 games played, he completed 72% of his passes, threw for 4,435 yards, 44 touchdowns compared to 6 interceptions, and even finished 4th in Heisman voting. Going into the current 22 campaign, CJ Stroud was a lot of people's Heisman favorite to win the award this year, and rightfully so. Especially with all the weapons that Ohio State has, and coming off the season that he did, a lot of people thought he would end up being the winner. But now looking at it today, as of recording of this video, it seems like CJ Stroud is more than likely not going to win the Heisman, but he still had a great season. 12 games played, 66% of his passes completed, 3,340 yards to the air, 37 touchdown passes in the air, compared to only 6 interceptions. Ohio State is a playoff team at number 4, and they're going to be playing Georgia in the first round of the college football playoff. For the final finalist in today's video, it is Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett, out of all the quarterbacks, is the one guy that nobody ever saw being in this position in the first place, and he's had a true underdog career. In high school, he was a 2-star recruit in the 2017 recruiting class, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings, holding offers from Columbia, Georgia Southern, Mercer, and Middle Tennessee State. He did not take any of those offers and would end up walking on at Georgia. Out of all the quarterbacks in today's video, Stetson's probably had the most interesting career out of everyone, as he started his career as a walk-on quarterback at Georgia, didn't play in a single game in 2017 redshirting, and would transfer to the JUCO level, playing for Jones College, where he would end up being the number 8 pro-style quarterback in the 2019 JUCO class, and would ultimately get offered by Georgia and end up going back there again. In 2019, Stetson was a backup quarterback for Georgia, appearing in 4 games, and in 2020, Stetson played a lot more than a lot of people really expected him to, as Georgia's quarterback Jamie Newman was originally supposed to be the starting quarterback, opted out of the season. JT Daniels wasn't exactly ready to go because of his injury that he had coming in to Georgia right before the season, so it was between him and Dwayne Mathis, and when Mathis was struggling, it was Stetson Bennett time, and Stetson Bennett did start in a few games for Georgia. He had some flashes, but ultimately it was pretty up and down. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great by any means. In 2020, 8 games played, he threw for 1,179 yards, 8 touchdowns, compared to 6 interceptions. Now we get on to 2021. The year that JT Daniels was expected to lead Georgia to a national championship, Georgia did make it to the national championship, but the quarterback that led them there was Stetson Bennett. When JT Daniels went down with injury, Stetson Bennett, he ran away with the job, and Stetson Bennett had a good 21 campaign. He completed nearly 65% of his passes, thrown for 2,862 yards, 29 touchdowns to the air compared to 7 interceptions. For 2022, Stetson Bennett has had a good year, and nobody expected him to be a Heisman finalist, especially coming into the season, but it was his first year as a for sure starting quarterback for the Bulldogs. 13 games played, Georgia's undefeated, the number 1 seed going into the playoff, and even won the SEC title game. He's completed 68% of his passes, has thrown for 3,425 yards, 20 touchdowns compared to 6 interceptions, while accounting for a total of 7 rushing touchdowns. This Heisman class is very interesting, and I'm not just saying that because they're all quarterbacks. All these players have a unique story. Caleb Williams, 5-star coming into Oklahoma. He took Spencer Rattler's job mid-season and would ultimately follow Lincoln Riley to USC, where he's now seen as a projected Heisman winner for this year. Max Duggan has gone through a lot of adversity. He had heart surgery. He started off as a backup this season, and now TCU is a playoff team, and Max Duggan is a Heisman finalist. CJ Stroud in 2020 only appeared in 1 game behind Justin Fields, and ever since then he's taken off, and this is the second time that he's a Heisman finalist in his college football career. Stetson Bennett, the most unlikely story of them all, started off as a walk-on, left Georgia to go to JUCO, came back to Georgia, and was never expected to play a down as a starting quarterback for the Bulldogs as a long-time starter. What does he do? He's won a national title in 2021, and now he's a Heisman finalist in 2022 with a good chance to win back-to-back national championships for Georgia. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, Drop something down in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win the Heisman in 2022? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. B. Kelly out.